Am I a hero? I really can't say, but yes.
Welcome, and consider yourself lucky. You've stumbled upon the BroSportsPodcast.
It's like eating a hot circle of garbage.
Now we'll be talking sports.
Whether it's not being picked for a team, or being picked for a team, and then showing up and realizing that the team doesn't exist, or that the sport doesn't exist. I should have known. Poop ball?
But more than that, we'll be talking about life, love, the pursuit of happiness, everything as it relates to being a bro.
Sometimes we play who can put the most M&Ms in their
So
mouth.
sit back, relax, and if you can get through the whole 30 minutes, I guarantee satisfaction.
That's what she said.
We are professional. If you're listening to this, then you are one hot mamacita. I'm really cool.
And I'm the Cartman, and this is BroSports.
This is show number 5. For our Spanish-speaking listeners, that's Cinco, right after Cortro.
On today's show, we're talking Week Corto of the NFL. Corto? I don't think that's right. I'm positive it's, Ocho Cinco.
No, I watched Dora the Explorer. It's Cortro. We're going oops, told you so, surprises, disappointments, impact players, a fantasy matchup update, and quarterbacks on the verge of wielding a clipboard.
I'll tell you who is going to win Week 5, and Really Cool will tell you about some ridiculous garbage about how he's still ahead in the picks.
I'm going back on the turning point hot seat, but I won't be intimidated.
Boo!
Ugh!
Geek Speak will end the show.
We'll explore some Kick-Ass 2 rumors and take a look at professional wrestlers that have crossed over to acting. It's yet another jam-packed show, Cartman, and let's try to keep it under an hour, huh? You ready?
Let's do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to
Talk about sports.
He did stick his nose in there and everything else he had. And it's tight, and it's right up there. You see he's going to bring it right in, darn near to his chin at the end. You just got the feeling that he smelled the 8-hole and then got it in the end zone. It's not that hard to get a tight end open. And that guy sits inside you, just cut it off and run right across his face.
Now for the section of our show that's dedicated just to sports.
How am I supposed to get my mouth around that?
That's what she said.
I did it, Cartman. I finally got 10 winning picks last week.
Yeah, well, it's the only time it's going to happen, so don't get too excited.
I don't know. I'm up a total of 3 picks on you now. You better
Hey, I
start
just want to
practicing.
make a great comeback.
You better start practicing those vocal cords. That's all I'm saying. You're going to be singing, I don't know. We're just going to be horrible.
Well, this is the Spanish-speaking dedicated show, so maybe it's something with a tuba in it.
There you go. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Fantasy football update. It's a bunch of BS is what it is.
Yeah, I'd be pretty upset, too, if I was you.
We tied in one of our leagues. We each got 102 points. I was okay with the tie because going into the Monday matchup, I was down like 20-something, but the Chicago Bears defense got me a buttload of points. So I was extremely excited that we tied. Then what happens is I log on Thursday, just to set my rosters for the Thursday night game, and I have a loss. I'm like, what the crappy pants? And I take a closer look at that. There's a stat correction that happened like Wednesday, and they took away 4 yards from Jamal Charles, was just enough to bounce me down 1 point, and I ended up losing to your sorry ass.
Ha ha! I told you I was going to beat you in both leagues.
That's ridiculous, though.
Aaron Rodgers blowing up last week with 4 touchdowns. That just won it for me. Both leagues. I kicked your butt.
And I
Don't
didn't.
be sad.
And I didn't start Peyton Manning. I started Matt Schaub, who didn't do too bad, but Peyton Manning had like 3 touchdowns and over almost 400 yards.
Yeah, he's looking like that Hall of Famer again, isn't
I
he?
hate that guy. He's such a loser. All right, let's jump right into the report card. My oops for the week was going, since we're talking Peyton Manning, was going with the Raiders to beat the Broncos. I rattled off some stats about how they've won their last 4 in Denver and how McFadden has had a great history against them, and it's a bunch of crap. Manning throws for 338 yards, 0 interceptions, and 3 touchdowns. McFadden, on the other hand, 34 rushing yards. Ridiculous.
Yeah, McFadden is one of those players that's always hot and cold. He never is consistent year-round.
McFadden's a loser.
Yeah, but you're a Chiefs fan.
That's true. All right, what's your oops?
My biggest oops is picking the Jets against the 49ers,
That was a
34-0.
huge oops, man.
Oh, I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking the Jets are going to come out trying to come back from this Revis injury. And, I thought that defense was going to step up and play, get some turnovers, maybe even score a touchdown themselves. But the whole team looked looked horrible. It's kind of a joke.
Well, since you're talking about that, my biggest told you so is the Jets defense being completely different team without Revis.
Hey, it's only one game. You got to give them some time.
Yeah. That one game, though, was bad. Allowing 34 points against a very mediocre 49er offense. And it doesn't help anything that their offense produces nothing. You were low on the Saints at the beginning of the year. I was super low on the Jets. And I'm starting to think that my Jets prediction is coming true. I said they'd win about 5 or 6 games, and even though they've already won 2, I don't see them winning much more than 5 or 6.
I think with Santonio Holmes out now as well.
Oh, it's huge for them.
Yeah,
Their
they have no
offensive
offense,
player.
and their best offensive player is out. So
Yeah.
But anyways, my I told you so is, kind of going along the same lines as the Broncos. I'm mostly picking that game because Peyton Manning lit it up, and that's one of the only games I got right and you got wrong.
Yeah. So Peyton Manning. Yeah, gosh, he's such a and on last week's show I said how he's just being outplayed, and then he goes out and has a game like that. I don't know what's going on with Peyton Manning, because sometimes he looks like he's just not the same, and like he's outmatched, or like his receivers are outmatched, and then he goes out
in the
and does
media
great.
this week. He came out and said that he's still not 100%. He's still learning every week, trying to learn that offense.
Yeah. You know what I hate about Peyton Manning is that I have to hate him. Because I used to like Peyton Manning a lot. And now I hate him because he's a donkey. And I hate the Denver Donkeys.
Denver Donkeys, I like that. Well, what's your biggest surprise this week, bro?
My biggest surprise will be Chris Johnson finally getting it going. It took, 4 weeks for him to do it. But last week he led the week in rushing with 141 yards. Now, his team still lost. But at least Chris Johnson looks like that he's, a football player again. But let me tell you about something. In one of the fantasy football leagues I'm in that you're not in, I had a really good move with Chris Johnson. I have to kind of brag about it a little bit.
All right, go for
somebody that I don't even know who this is, they sent me a trade request, and they wanted to give me Chris Johnson for Pierre Garçon.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was like, no way, dude. Chris Johnson is sucking. But then I just held on to the trade. I didn't reject it. And I just held on to it. I held on to it for like 7 days, just let it pend, while I was thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
And then Chris Johnson goes and runs for 141 yards, and now he looks like he's back. And Pierre Garçon is, beat up, and who knows if he's going to have another great game with a rookie quarterback. So I traded. I went and accepted the trade after Chris Johnson had that huge game, and so the other guy couldn't, get the trade back. He has to give
that's
Chris
some
Johnson
really
now.
good fantasy strategy I've never
know, right?
actually thought about before.
Yeah.
Well, good move by you.
Yeah, so I got Chris Johnson for Pierre Garçon, and hopefully that will help me out in that league. I think I'm like 5th in that league. That's my 16-team league, where you also
Holy
pick
cow,
defense. Yeah, and you also have individual defensive players too.
I've never done a league with individual defensive players, but I think I might try to join one next year. Sounds fun.
Maybe I'll try to get you into this one.
Okay, that'd be awesome. But anyways,
yeah.
I think I'm going to have to go with my biggest surprise is Tony Romo and his 5 interceptions. All week long, people were talking. Well, it was the Monday night game, so the Monday night game gets more coverage than most of the other games do. Mm-hmm. And Monday morning, I was hearing people saying Tony Romo is an elite quarterback in this league. And then he goes out and he throws 5 interceptions and damn near loses that game all by himself. It was just sad and horrible. I mean, the Bears scored 12 of their points on their defensive side of the ball. If he didn't throw those interceptions, they would have been in this game, and they probably would have even won this game. 5 interceptions is way too much to overcome for any team in this NFL. Tony Romo is not an elite quarterback. I don't know how many times I got to say it for how many years. He's never going to win another playoff game, I don't think.
So what do you think qualifies elite quarterback, since you brought it up? Do you have to have a Super Bowl win to be an elite quarterback?
No, not necessarily. I mean, would you call Dan Marino an elite quarterback?
Yes.
He never won a Super Bowl.
Right.
And John Elway went most of his career being called an elite quarterback and didn't win a Super Bowl till his last 2 seasons. I think that has a lot to do with it. I mean, if you're a mediocre statistically, but you have a Super Bowl or 2 Super Bowl wins under your belt and they were recent, I think, it'll bump you up a little bit. Will move you more to that elite status.
Well, and you know what my biggest thing with elite quarterback is that they win consistently. There's a sense of safety where, you think of like a Tom Brady, like a Peyton Manning or Drew Brees, and you're like, or Aaron Rodgers, and you're like, I want that guy on the field. If that guy has the ball in his hands with 2 minutes to go, down 1 score, I'm confident we'll win the game.
Yeah.
To me, that is elite quarterback. Disappointment. My biggest disappointment is Yahoo Sports taking away my win. That is BS, and let me tell you why. If there's an officiating error that happens in an NFL game, they don't go back 3 days later and take the win from them. So you can't go back 3 days later and take away my tie.
Hey.
That's bogus.
Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed off if I was you too, especially losing to me in 2 different fantasy leagues.
I know. Well, one league you
I kicked your butt.
But another, come on. Yeah. That's ridiculous. All right. But anyways, my real disappointment, that was just more of my fake one. My real disappointment, I actually have 2. Can I go with 2?
Let me go first in case one of mine is yours.
Right.
Okay.
Good point.
My biggest disappointment is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Ouch.
Mostly because you talk about how
They
good this
suck.
team should be every single week. And so
And I'm
I
gonna
root
do it
for
again.
them. And I honestly do root for them every week. I want them to win. I want to see them do good. I have my whole life. But, man, gosh, they just disappoint me every week. They
suck.
I don't know
I'm going
what's
to talk
going
about
on.
that later.
Okay.
I'll tell you what's going on later on, though.
Okay, go with your disappointment.
When we get to... Yeah, all right. My disappointments, I'm also disappointed in the Chiefs, but I'll talk about that later. That's horrible. One of my disappointments is Seattle Seahawks fans and how they're screaming for Russell Wilson's head right now. It's a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, Russell Wilson last week, he threw for only 160 yards and 3 interceptions. But there was a poll on the ESPN Seattle over here that I listened to in the morning.
Oh, yeah. I think 78% of the people said they want Matt Flynn or a number like that. 70.
It was about, I think it was 72%. That's ridiculous. He's a rookie quarterback. You wanted this guy to be your quarterback. When he has one bad game like a rookie quarterback's going to have, you can't call for his head right away. That's ridiculous.
And I've said from the beginning, I think Matt Flynn should be the starting quarterback. I still do believe that. But for the reasons that the Seahawks fans are calling for Matt Flynn to be the quarterback right now, I think it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, in his 2 wins, it's not like he had astronomical, amazing numbers, He was doing what a rookie quarterback is allowed to do.
Agreed. All right, well, who's your offensive impact player of the week?
My offensive impact player is Aaron Rodgers, and I hate, picking another Packers player, but he played...
I try to avoid mentioning the Chiefs all the time, too.
Yeah, but he just played awesome. He won 2 fantasy leagues for me this week. Not only that, more importantly, he won for the Packers. He threw for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. He did have the 1 pick, but he just, that offense is just looking good again. It's really looking good.
Do you think they're back?
I think the offense is back. This week they play against the Colts, so they're going to have a good offensive game this week too, I believe. And even though Greg Jennings is definitely out this week, he's been plagued by that freaking hamstring injury all year long.
Isn't it a groin?
Oh, groin, that's right. Groin injury all year long.
Yeah, and those groin injuries are tricky. That's his love muscle, right?
Oh, yeah, his wife must be pretty angry right now.
My impact player is Tom Brady. Last week, Tom Brady did what only Tom Brady can do, and he proved why we are watching not just the best quarterback today, but what I believe to be the best quarterback of all time. He goes into halftime down 7 points in a divisional game on the opponent's field. He comes out of the locker room and throws for 3 touchdowns and runs for another one in the second half. That's freaking-sane. This was in a game where the Buffalo defense was just shutting it down, and then they ended up with 52 points by the end of the game. Yeah, that's insane. Only Tom Brady can do that.
Good adjustments during halftime in that game for sure. You got to give a lot to the coaching staff. I mean, they weren't playing the same game. Well, they don't. Well, think what you want, but of course. But Tom Brady did come back and play an amazing game. But I don't think he's the only quarterback in the NFL that can do that. That can come back from, it was only 7 points down. It was against Buffalo Bills. How many
Well,
games?
I know.
You know.
I know. Not that he's not the only quarterback that will come back and win that game, but I think he's one of the only quarterbacks that will come out after being shut down for a full half to come out and throw for 3 touchdowns and run for another one.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
That is nuts. Who do you got as your impact player for defense?
My defensive impact player is going to be Lance Briggs. He caused 2 turnovers to happen against the roller coaster Dallas Cowboys, and they won that game. He also got a touchdown in that game, too, in that big win.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people making plays on that Bears defense. It's easy to make the big play when you got other people doing their jobs for them.
Yeah, that's true.
But I got to, with my impact defensive player, I'm going to go with J.J. Watt of the Houston Texans. But this is kind of a season-long thing because he has been very impressive this year. This last week he had 2 sacks, 5 tackles, and anchoring that Houston Texans defense, which he used to play opposite of Mario Williams, who is now in Buffalo. But he had 2 sacks this week. He had 2.5 the week before. He had 1.5 the week in week 2 and 1.5 in week 1. He is right now the most consistent pass rusher in the NFL. And I think with the Houston Texans losing Mario Williams this year, I think J.J. Watt is one of the most important people on that entire Houston Texans team and is a big reason why they're still undefeated.
I like that pick. Did you know the Texans are back at being number 1 defensively?
I believe it.
Yeah, that's a good pick. All right, let's move on to our next headline now. Here's what I got for you. I'm going to rattle off 4 quarterbacks. I want you to tell me which one of these quarterbacks will be the first one to lose his starting spot.
All right.
All right, here's the 4 quarterbacks. Russell Wilson, Matt Castle, Mark Sanchez, or Kevin Kolb. Or if you want to throw someone else in there, that's fine too.
No, I like those 4 quarterbacks. Or for this discussion. Kevin.
All right, I'll trade you.
I'll
trade you Matt Castle for Aaron Rodgers. You like him so much.
I do like him, but
He
I think
sucks.
the thing about Kevin Kolb is he got the job because of injury. Once Skelton comes back and he's fully healthy, and he has 1 bad game,
which he had last night.
Yeah, I know, but
It wasn't his fault though.
well,
No one was blocking for him.
yeah,
He had to throw the ball 50 times.
that's
That's insane.
and he got sacked 8 times? So that was actually 58 pass plays that they played.
Got sacked. I don't know how many times he got sacked, but I think he got hit on literally every single play.
But I think he will be the first to lose his job because the Cardinals were overplaying the kind of team they were. They're not a 4-0 team. They're maybe a 3-1 team. They're not a 4-0 team. They're overplaying. And once he has a bad game and Skelton's totally healthy, and it's interesting, Kansas City, Matt Castle. I've never liked Castle, but what are their other options? Brady Quinn.
Exactly.
Brady Quinn.
Exactly.
You gotta. I mean,
I agree with you. I don't like Matt Castle that much either, but he's the best thing we got right now.
Yeah,
He's who we got to go with.
I don't think Brady Quinn is the answer in Kansas City.
No, me neither.
And let's see, who else you say? Russell Wilson. We already
Russell
talked about
Wilson.
the Seahawks. I think Matt Flynn's the better quarterback, but I think the Seahawks have to stick with Russell Wilson because they made that decision already.
What about Mark Sanchez? There's
Sanchez?
an interesting storyline there.
There is, but I'm not allowed to say the T word on this show.
You're not.
But Tim
It's a bad
Tebow
word.
is.
You did it.
I don't even think Tim Tebow should be in the league. I know he went to the playoffs last year as the Broncos starting quarterback, but it wasn't because of Tim Tebow that they went to the playoffs.
No, but let me tell you why Mark Sanchez will be the first one of these quarterbacks to lose his starting job. You ready? Here's the reason. The reason is because the New York Jets locker room is a freaking circus. And they got nothing else going on for them other than starting Tim Tebow. It's the only way that they'll still get national media coverage. And if they tell me they don't care about national media coverage, that's bullcrap. They're probably the NFL team that cares about national media coverage the most, by far.
And if this was a different team, different head coach, say the 49ers had Mark Sanchez and Tim Tebow on their roster as their top 2 quarterbacks, I don't even think this would be a discussion because they're going to stick with Mark Sanchez because he is the better quarterback. He's not, a good or a great quarterback, but that's their quarterback, and they would stick with him. But in New York, the fans, they want to see Tim Tebow. They were all excited. I mean, ESPN talked about it all the time. So they want to see Tim Tebow, and they're going to be pressured, and they're going to give in and start Tim
I think
Tebow
they will
one
too.
of these days.
Yeah, they will. Out of these 4 quarterbacks, which one, if you were starting a team and you only had these 4 quarterbacks to choose from, which one would you go with and why?
Let's see. I would probably go with Russell Wilson. Because
of the potential.
Because of the potential. Out of those 4,
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen what Kevin Kolb can do. He's been in the league for numerous years. He played well in Philadelphia, but that was when he had a good team around him.
And he didn't play well, like, that much.
No,
He
only
started
a
like
couple
5 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'd go with Mark Sanchez
Really?
just because he's been there. He's won some playoff games. He has some experience. He's the only one on that list that's actually won in big moments, whether it was because of him or not. He would bring the most experience and probably the most leadership to the team. Should we talk about the Thursday night game? I picked the Rams, if you remember right.
let's see. I believe I did too. I believe I picked them to win and get 8 sacks, actually. So I should.
Oh, yeah, good job.
Yeah,
hey,
I
you
should
should get an extra point for that.
I should. Yes, I'm only down 2 points.
Nah, I think we should throw that game out.
Yeah.
But
We're going to have to throw out the Thursday. Hey, maybe we should pick next Thursday's game tonight, too. Just
that's a good idea.
throwing it out
I don't
there.
know what it is, do you?
No
Isn't
idea.
it Steelers? I think it's Steelers something. Yeah, we'll research that and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, but let's just go ahead and jump into the Sunday morning matchups. These are games that have not happened yet. And let's start with your team, the Cartman.
Gotta go
Green Bay at Indianapolis. Oh, you said Green Bay before I even mentioned who they're playing.
Because
You're that confident, huh?
it doesn't matter. No, I'm just joking. Green Bay against the rookie quarterback. I think Aaron Rodgers can put up the ball. I know I picked the Packers 4 times to win. Well, I'm going with 5.
All right. I can't blame you too much. I've picked my Chiefs every week, too.
Yeah.
And they've let me down a lot more than your Packers have let you down. I'm also going Green Bay, but I think this game is going to tell us a lot about Green Bay. We're going to see how good their offense is. We will see if their offense is back. Can they match the offensive game that they had last week? If they lose this game, then, I'm jumping off the Green Bay Packer bandwagon. I'm going to say that they do not win the division. All right, Baltimore at Kansas City. You go first.
Yeah, you've talked me into picking Kansas City week after week. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to go Baltimore to win this game. I'm sorry, man.
All right, let me tell you why Kansas City's going to win this game. Just kidding. I'm picking against Kansas City, and here's why. It's because I think I am dooming them by picking them every week. Kind of like how Mike Greenberg has the kiss of death.
Yeah.
I think I'm deathfully kissing the Chiefs every week I pick them.
Wow, that's romantic.
So I'm going to pick against them. The only week that they won was a week that on the show I hesitantly picked them. I was like,
against the Saints.
I guess I'll do it. Right?
Yeah, right.
So I'm going to pick against them, and we're going to see what happens. And this is why the Chiefs are a horrible team. They have great talent. They're a great, and their team isn't really that bad. And you know what? The next thing I'm going to say is going to shock you, and you're not going to believe me, but the Chiefs have actually been playing good football. They're 13th in defense overall, and they're 4th in offense. When you have a team that's 13th in defense and 4th in offense, they should be a lot better than 1 and 3.
They should, but the stats that you're leaving out is the efficiency.
Is the one I'm going to get to right now.
Is efficiency and turnovers.
They are 32nd in turnovers, and it's not even close. They have negative 13 in the turnover differential.
Wow.
That's nearly twice as bad as the team right above them in 31.
Well, if
which is negative 7, which is Dallas. And they're allowing an average of 34 points per game. That is why they're losing. And but I don't blame it's the player's fault ultimately. But the person I'm blaming is Romeo Crennel. When you have a team with as much talent as the Chiefs have that is playing as bad, then it's got to come down to the coaching. These guys are playing undisciplined football very badly, and that's got to come down to the coaching staff. And I think Baltimore wins this game because the Chiefs have yet to win a turnover battle. Even the game they won against the Saints, they lost the turnover battle.
Yeah. And that's where you can make up for the, having the fourth best offense or whatever you said.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you can make up the stat in that way, but they gotta start taking the ball away, and they need to take care of the ball and fundamentals. That's how you win football games,
All right, Miami at Cincinnati.
Miami at Cincinnati. I'm going to take this is kind of a hard game because Cincinnati is way overplayed because they're 3-1.
I don't think so. I think they're doing okay.
Well, I picked them to be, around 500, maybe 9-7. But I think they're overplaying the 3-1 record, but I think they're going to take this game against the rookie quarterback at home. I got to take the home team on this one.
I'm going with you, Bengals, but I do disagree with you that they're overplaying. I think they're a pretty good team. I think they're going to win more games than you expect them to. Philadelphia at Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's going to come back and win this week. They're 1-2 right now. If they have any hopes of winning that division like I picked them to, and with Baltimore winning this weekend, I am going to have to take Pittsburgh to win this game because they need to win. They need to win bad. And
Are the Steelers going to go 1-3?
No, they're not. Harrison and Palomalu are both coming back this week. Philadelphia's just going to be running like chickens with their head cut off, or eagles with their heads cut off.
You know what? I kind of want to see them lose. I'm going to pick them this week because I just can't picture them going 1-3. I think they're still a really solid team, even though they let Oakland come back on them. They've only lost twice because they had a bye week last week. Their record's a little bit skewed. They haven't played as many games. I'm going to go with the Steelers, but I want to see them lose because Todd Haley is their offensive coordinator. And when you break up with somebody, you really want to, look back at them. You look them up in like 2 years and you kind of hope that they're doing bad.
Yeah.
I'm rooting against Todd Haley for kind of the same thing,
Uh-huh.
I don't like the way he left Kansas City.
Go ahead. What about Atlanta at Washington?
Atlanta at Washington. I'm going to pick Washington. Washington are allowing over 30 points per game. Now, with a rookie quarterback...
So you're going to pick them to win this game?
No, I'm picking against them. I'm picking the
Falcons
because they're allowing over 30 points per game. With a rookie quarterback, you can't ask him to consistently score that much. Atlanta's only allowing 19 points per game. So I'm thinking Atlanta's got this one by at least a touchdown, maybe 9 points.
I have to go with Atlanta at this too. This could be a pretty big upset, but the way Matt Ryan's playing right now, I can't really argue against them with the way Washington defense has been plagued with the injuries so far this year. I got to go Atlanta.
I got bad news for you, Chris Cartman.
Oh, what's that?
So far, we have agreed on every single game, and there's no way you're going to catch up to me if we keep agreeing.
Well, start picking the wrong team so I can pick the right ones.
Oh, sorry. So you're going to go with the Browns in the next one. Browns at Giants. I'm going Giants. Browns are bad.
I'm going Giants. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
Hey, I still haven't heard your upset special.
Yeah, we haven't got to it
mine.
yet. It's all the
I
way
got
down
mine coming up too. Okay. I wonder if it's probably the same one.
Oh, crap.
All right. Seattle at Carolina.
Upset special.
Is it?
No.
I
I
don't even know.
I don't know what the favorite in this game would be.
I don't know
I think I'm going to go Carolina because Seattle should be 1-3 right now. They're just not playing the way they should, and they haven't seen a quarterback like Cam Newton yet this year. Cam Newton's going to blow up and want to rewrite the ship, and he's 1-3. They should have been doing better than this by now. I'm going to go Carolina at home against the Seattle Seahawks.
All right, we finally got a matchup that's different. I'm going Seattle. Seattle has the leading rusher for of the season, the current leading rusher on their team right now. I think Pete Carroll is going to open up the playbook a little more and put a little bit of more faith in Russell Wilson. Allow Russell Wilson to show you why he's the guy that should be the quarterback. And I think that they'll let him throw the ball down the field a little bit more. And Seattle will win a very, very close game.
Well, for them to be able to shut up the Seattle fans and start calling for a different quarterback, they need to let him control the game and let him throw the ball down the field and make his own mistakes. Don't have the Seahawks lose because of the play calls. Let them lose because of this quarterback that they put their franchise hands into,
Chicago at Jacksonville.
Crap. Who you picking?
Okay.
Well, most of the games this week are...
I'm picking Jacksonville. Psych.
There you go. You said it. Everybody
Nope.
heard it. You heard it.
Jacksonville is the 32nd. They're the worst offense in the league, averaging 250 yards per game. Jacksonville stinks. I'm going Chicago.
Chicago. The Bears.
The Bears.
All right. What about Denver, New England?
Wait, who'd you pick?
Oh.
Bears?
I just said it. The Bears.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. All right, the next one is probably the best game of the week. It's the one where my TV will be tuned to on Sunday afternoon. That's Denver at New England. Both teams 2-2.
I will pick opposite.
Do you want me to pick first?
Yeah, I'll pick
Okay.
opposite. You pick. You give me my team this week or on this. pick.
Okay. Well, I'm taking the home team, the Patriots.
How about you take Denver?
Nope. I'm taking Patriots. You want to go Denver?
I'll go Denver.
All right, look
All right.
at you.
This will be.
losing.
It's kind of interesting because of all those old Colts Patriots battles back in the early decade. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. They played in the playoffs many times. It was always one of the best games of the year.
Buffalo at San Francisco.
San Francisco.
I'm going 49ers. No,
I said it
didn't pick
first.
But we both get them. You don't get to tell me who to pick. I'm in the lead, sucker.
Crap.
That's the great thing about having the lead. But I will pick the rest of the games first if that makes you feel better.
No, because then it'll just feel like I'm copying you.
Well, all right, I'm going Minnesota in the next one.
yeah,
Tennessee
yeah.
is going into Minnesota. Minnesota's going to go 4-1 in that division, which is just insane. They're winning kind of in a unique way. They're winning with special teams. And I remember when the Kansas City Chiefs went 10-0 because of their special teams when they had Dante Hall back there.
Yeah.
And I think with special teams, it's not something that is necessarily going to be repeatable year after year, but it's something that it's something magical. When you're winning with special teams, it just seems to work, and it works for entire seasons at a time.
Yeah,
It's strange.
it is strange like that. And
It's something
actually,
special.
Yeah, it's actually really good because they got that young quarterback and kind of going to be in the next couple years in Minnesota changing the guard on defense. The best defensive players are getting a little up there in age, and so special teams, that's the way to do it. It helps out your offense, it helps out your defense. Gives a good field position on either side of the ball. And if that's the way they're going to win, that's the way they're going to win. I mean, you can't argue with it. And I'm pretty impressed with Minnesota. I'm going to have to take them home against Tennessee with Jake Locker hurt and Matt Hasselbeck old.
We're in agreement again. Ooh, it looks like it's going to be literally impossible for you to catch me this week.
Oh, that's okay.
Because
Just
next week is the next game is my upset special. I'm taking the Saints over the Chargers. The San Diego starting running back is a guy that couldn't even make the Chiefs lineup in Jackie Battle. And I know that the Chargers really crushed the Chiefs last week, but I really think it was a case of the Chiefs crushing themselves because in the second half, the Chiefs looked like a good team, and when the Chiefs are not turning the ball over, they look like a really good team. Problem is, you turn the ball over 6 times, you're not going to win. But the Chargers didn't really look impressive, even though they won the game. The Chiefs just look really bad.
Well,
but I'm going Saints.
I got a surprise for you.
You going Saints too?
Yeah. I can't help it. I picked this as my upset special as well. I mean,
it's a good
honestly,
pick.
I mean, well, you look at the matchup. San Diego, take away the records, you just look at San Diego at New Orleans. Who's the favorite to win?
Yeah,
New Orleans.
Yeah.
And then you look at the record, 3-1 versus an 0-4.
All right, the Monday night matchup should be a absolutely boring one.
Yeah.
Houston Texans at New York Jets. Now, this is a case, you talk about games that are strength versus strength. This is the case where it's strength versus weakness. You have Houston's #1 defense and their #2 against the pass going up against a team that cannot throw the ball in the New York Jets. So this is strength versus weakness, big time.
Yeah, I think we're both going to be taking the Texans in this one.
Oh, yeah.
But look for this to be the game where the Jets start doing some crazy things with Tim Tebow in the backfield.
Out of desperation.
Yeah, exactly, out of desperation. And maybe that's what they brought Tim Tebow in for, was the desperation plays. Who knows why they brought Tim Tebow in there? If they really thought Mark Sanchez was their quarterback of the future, then why bring in this ex-first-round pick? All that's going to do is cause drama, which we know they like, cause people to talk about them, which they like. So who knows? I don't know what the heck is going on with the New York Jets, other than injuries.
Yeah,
but
the same thing. The thing with the Jets is nothing new is going on, except for now they're losing. They're a circus sideshow act, and they've always been a circus sideshow act. It's just now they're not winning anymore.
And how many games did we choose different? I think I got
2.
2? Oh,
2 games different, so it's impossible for you to catch me this week.
Impossible, but I can come within 1.
Yep, you can. And so those games that we're going to be really paying attention to, the only games we differ on, I took shit.
I
took Seattle. Yeah, which is pretty much shit. I took Seattle in Carolina, and you took... And then I also took the Patriots at home, which will probably actually split and tie.
All right, really cool. It's your turn to be on the hot seat for Turning Points this week. Are you ready?
Ready!
All right, let's get this started. Who would you like to trade your life with for one day?
Hugh Hefner. The reason why is he's surrounded by a bunch of hot chicks, and my wife couldn't consider it cheating because I'm sure his pecker doesn't work.
Good answer. How many wins will the Saints have this year?
They will have 6 wins.
6 wins. What is worse for the Jets? Santonio Holmes being out for the year or Darrelle Revis being out for the year?
Easily Darrelle Revis being out for the year. I mean, the Jets' offense was not that good anyway, with or without Santonio Holmes.
If they made a movie about you, who would you want to play the role of Really Cool?
Sid the Sloth.
Hey, that's a great answer. I like that. All right, what's the
Hi,
best?
I'm really cool.
What's the best comedy movie of all time?
Dumb and Dumber.
I knew you were going to say that.
I still laugh my ass off when I watch that movie.
Yeah, it's good. But who will have more sacks this year? Clay Matthews, who is at 7 right now, or J.J. Watt of the Texans with 7.5, or somebody else?
Ooh. I'm going to go with one of those two since that seems the safest right now. I'm going to go with J.J. Watt just because he's not a Packer. Suck it.
All right. If you had one superpower, what would it be?
I think about this all the time, actually. Is that weird?
No, I believe it. I mean, we do have a segment called Geek Speak.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I would have infinite stamina, meaning I would never get tired. I would never have to sleep. I could run and run and run and never get tired. I could, do my job during the day, and then I could do whatever I wanted to at night because I'd never need to sleep. It'd be like a realistic power that would help me in my real day.
Well, is there too much put on Tony Romo's shoulders, or is he really that bad?
There probably is too much put on every single NFL quarterback's shoulders, so I'll go yes for that sake of the question, but he's overrated.
All right. Well, last question. If you suddenly found yourself turned into a woman, how would you spend your day?
Am I hot?
You're a 6.
Ooh, man, it's not even that good of a... I would spend my day teaching other women how to drive.
You're lucky your wife doesn't listen to the show.
No, she knows. She sucks at driving. There's the carpet on the passenger side of her car is worn out from me slamming on the imaginary brakes.
Oh, gosh.
She
that's
waits
crazy.
till the last second to stop. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. Well, you want to know how I would spend my day?
What?
I would use my body to get, let's see.
You're only a 6.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I just thought of. Crap, I don't know. Maybe
Because I would have used my body, too.
Maybe I would...
Used and abused it, I think.
Maybe I would use my body to get a better job. Then they'd be really disappointed the next day when I walked in.
Yeah. You'd be like, well, his tits are the same, but other than that, who is this person?
All right, well, that's Turning Points for this week, guys. Thanks for listening.
Y'all ready for this?
Kill me.
Moving on to something else.
You don't seem to have much of a handle on this.
Sports talk is over.
God, you think that every thought that comes out of your head is pure gold. Well, let me tell you something. Some of those thoughts are pure caca.
If you were a chick, who's the one guy you would sleep with?
John Stamos.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yup.
It is time for Geek Speak.
See, if you had killed me when I said kill me, I wouldn't have had to hear that.
We're going to start Geek Speak with some Kick-Ass 2 rumors. Cartman and I were both really big fans of the first Kick-Ass movie, and we're both really looking forward to the second one. Now, supposedly, how do you say that word, supposedly?
I don't know. I've never been able to figure it out either. I can't speak English very well.
Yeah, me neither, and I teach it. I mean, I think it's supposedly, but most people pronounce it supposedly. Yeah.
I think.
But it's all right. Supposedly, there are some shocking and controversial scenes, much like in the first one, you had the young girl who says the C word. You know,
Cat?
people got all excited. Yeah, cat. And I actually enjoyed the Kick-Ass first movie so much that I want to stay away from reading the Kick-Ass 2 comic books because I don't want it to ruin the movie for me.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. I don't want to finish reading the Walking Dead comics because I'm so excited for Walking Dead this next season.
Yeah.
I don't want to, because the movie was so good, I don't want to ruin the movie with the comics. Usually it's the other way around. I don't want to ruin the book with the movie. But
right.
This way it's kind of a little different because I saw the movie Kick-Ass and I've never read the comics.
Yeah, I've never actually read the comics either, even though, you know, I keep meaning to. But the big star that they signed on for Kick-Ass 2, you know who this is?
Let me guess.
Go.
Hulk Hogan.
Not even close.
Let me guess again. Is it a guy or a girl?
Dude. Pretty big name actor. A guy that is a really great actor, actually.
Let's see. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Nope.
Okay, I give up. Those are the only actors I can think of.
Really? You thought of Hulk Hogan?
Well, because his face is looking at me on the computer right now.
That's creepy. No, Jim Carrey.
Whoa, really?
And what I'm excited about this signing is that Jim Carrey can obviously do comedy, but he's done some really good, like, dramas, too. And
Yes,
Kick-Ass, the first one, was like this great mixture of comedy and drama, which is what really pulled me into it. And so I think Jim Carrey's a great signing for this movie.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting the way they take it. I mean, is he going to be, like, do you know what character he's playing? Like, is he going to be a good guy or a bad guy? Or
I don't know because I want to avoid knowing,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want it to ruin it. I would love to see him as a bad guy.
Yeah, kind of like in the Riddler.
Well, yeah, but that was a horrible movie.
That was a horrible movie, but he did an okay job as a bad, like, it's
I
not
agree.
like he's one of those actors that him being a bad guy is like totally out of the question. It's not, you know,
Right.
it's not like awkward. But he has done some great dramas. Like, The Number 23 was a great movie that he was in, and that wasn't funny at all. And that's one of my favorite movies. It's scary, it's drama, it's, you know, a little bit of everything, and it's really
Or
good
even
movie.
The Truman Show. I mean, that's had some funny moments, but it
Yeah, it
wasn't
kind of
a
made you want to cry at the
comedy.
end.
Yeah, or have you ever seen
And it kind of made you want to look for hidden cameras around your house.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that all the time.
I don't know, but I am way excited for this Kick-Ass 2. Actually, today, me and my wife were shopping for Halloween costumes, and I saw the Kick-Ass costume there. Out of all of them, there's awesome costumes at the costume store. And I saw the Kick-Ass costume, and I was like, I freaking want that. And like, I showed it to my wife and my wife's best friend, Brandy, and I was like, isn't this a cool costume? Brandy's like, yeah. But she doesn't have any idea who Kick-Ass is.
Oh, yeah.
But
But
I want
you
to
know
be
what?
Kick-Ass
Since you
for
mentioned
Halloween.
it, I hate the Halloween stores. And here is why. I used to love Halloween when I was a kid, obviously. I liked it in college, you know, that's when it gets kind of weird and crazy, kind of a weird spin to Halloween. But Halloween ultimately is a kid's holiday.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I hate going to Halloween City or Spirit, and there's like 4 costumes to choose from for my son. It drives me freaking insane. It's like, come on, there's this huge warehouse, and I get 4 costumes that fit my son. It kind of pisses me off.
Oh, come down to the Tri-Cities. There's a ton of kids' costumes.
Oh, really?
Tons.
I
It's
don't know.
kind of crazy. I mean, we were going to get Eli a red Power Ranger costume for Halloween. I was going to pay $30 for it, but Costco even had it for $17 today.
Maybe I
And
do
this-
need to go to the Tri-Cities, huh? That's
Yeah,
where it's at.
Yeah, there's a lot of costumes down here for kids.
I
Maybe
ended up getting
Seattle
one
could be a
online,
little.
though.
Maybe Seattle's more considered more the adult party type town than the Tri-Cities down here is, but
I don't think the Tri-Cities is considered anything.
desert.
Yeah, desert, superhuman things, radioactive.
I did see a salmon with 3 eyeballs the other day.
Did you?
No, but
Oh, okay.
wouldn't surprise me.
All right, let's go on to our final Geek Speak topic, and we're going to be talking about wrestler turned actors. Cartman and I have compiled a top 5, and believe me, this was hard because can you even think of a wrestler that became a good actor? Not really.
Well, actually, are all actors in their regular job, wrestling.
That is true, right? I mean, wrestling is an element of acting and athletics. And I haven't watched a professional wrestling show in a long time.
Either have I. So most of these people are from, our days, watching it early 90s to, high school age.
Right.
But
so the 90s, basically.
Yeah.
So maybe our list is a little skewed. However, YouTube gives me like these demographics of our listeners, and pretty much the people listening to the show, most of them are male from 25 to 35, which makes sense because we are both male from 25 to 35. So
yeah.
I think the people listening will know who we're talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's start with Cartman giving us the honorable mention. This is the guy that didn't quite crack our top 5.
All right, our honorable mention is Jesse Ventura. Not because he was governor, but because he was in some pretty good movies you may not realize he was in. His biggest role was in Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he also starred in Batman and Robin, Repossessed, Demolition Man, The Running Man, Guardian of the Universe, and remember that movie with Johnny Knoxville, The Ringer? So he was in quite a bit of movies.
Yeah, he had some good cameos. He was also cameo rolled in some X-Files episodes, and I'm a real big fan of X-Files.
Oh yeah, X-Files is a great show, and in Men in Black as well.
Right. So he gets our honorable mention. Doesn't quite crack our top 5 of wrestler turned actors, but he's worth mentioning. Our number 5 actually almost didn't make the list either, for the main reason that one of his major roles we didn't realize was him because he wears a mask most of the time.
Yeah, when you told me, I was pretty surprised.
Yeah, it's from one of our favorite childhood movies. This is probably the movie that we watched more than almost any other movie growing up, and that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze. Kevin Nash, who you may know as Diesel, played Shredder in that movie.
Or Big Sexy.
Is that what it is? Big Sexy?
But he did play Shredder, and that surprised the heck out of me. I had no idea.
Yeah. Great movie. That was the one where they turned like the snapping turtle into like this big thing and like this wolf and this big
Was
thing.
that Bebop and Rocksteady?
No, they didn't. They changed that for the show.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Bebop and Rocksteady were never in the movies.
Oh.
But also, he played a henchman in the 2004 Punisher movie. He was in along with almost every other single wrestler in the business in that movie with Adam Sandler, The Longest Yard.
That's a great movie,
which was
too.
a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that movie.
I know, me too.
But he was also popped up in some big summer movies this last year with Rock of Ages and Magic Mike. And he is scheduled to be, if rumors are true, into the next Hunger Games sequel.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. I'm excited for that movie. And it'll be interesting to see what role he plays. I mean, I can't, like, I've read all the books and I can't think of who he would play.
Yeah, me neither. He's an old dude.
Yeah, he is old. I could pick out some roles in maybe, third movie, but not the second. It's going to be interesting to see who he plays and what character he's gonna play.
The number 4 guy on our list is on here just for mainly one movie that I hate and Cartman loves.
Yeah.
So this one's all Cartman. Who is this guy?
It's got to be Andre the Giant. I think he only acted in one movie, The Princess Bride. But The Princess Bride is one of my favorite movies. I've watched it ever since I was a little kid. It was actually the first movie me and my wife watched together. It's one of my favorites to this day. If I ever see it on TV, I stop and watch a little bit of it. I mean, there's great quotes. There's great fight scenes. I mean, there is some pretty corny stuff in this movie, but, that's what makes it a great children's movie. I mean, because it's a children's movie, but there's, death and fighting and revenge and that kind of thing for, like the older kids and me. I'm 27. Oh, no,
You're the older kid.
Yeah, I love that movie. I mean, it's great. It's a great movie, and I think Andre the Giant. The movie, Andre the Giant wasn't like the main actor in that movie or anything, but the movie wouldn't be the same without him. And it's a great movie.
I'm a huge Andre the Giant fan, which is why I like him in this list. I don't necessarily like that movie, and I think, his acting job in that, I mean, he was pretty much himself, but when you look at this list of actors, I mean, none of them are great actors.
Yeah.
They're just, they just pretty much are typecasted to play a certain role anyway. But I love Andre the Giant. I think he was an outstanding wrestling icon, and just, I almost called him American icon, but he's not American, but, he was such a big part of the American culture.
Yeah. All
right, third on this list comes from a cult classic. if you know the movie. What is it called? They Live?
They Live.
Just They.
It's actually a John Carpenter movie called They Live. And it's one of my favorites as well. I mean, this movie, it's kind of a horror movie, kind of zombie, alien. Not quite sure exactly what it is.
Before zombies were cool, but I think it is more alien. But it is, you're right. It's like
they look like
zombies.
An
interstellar zombie movie. But it's Roddy Piper. The guy that used to wrestle in a dress, basically. Well, a kilt, but come on, man.
A kilt's not a dress.
It's a dress.
Have you ever seen a woman wear a dress that was plaid?
All right, but he gets our number 3 spot. Moving up the list, this guy could probably be argued completely off the list, but because of the era that Cartman and I grew up, we grew up idolizing this guy, even though recently he's kind of turned into like this super weird dude. We're talking Hulk Hogan as a number 2.
And as growing up as a kid, I loved watching Hulk Hogan movies because we would watch them every Saturday on wrestling, and then we'd be like, hey, let's go pop in Suburban Commando or Mr. Nanny, and watch these movies. And he was funny, he was, adults like to watch him because he was who he was, Hulk Hogan, this wrestler. They like to watch him because of that, and kids liked him because he was a great kid actor. I mean, he kind of spread out to, all age groups, and now, he's just kind of a laughingstock of movies that he made. But he was, he was in some pretty good movies. I don't know. I haven't seen one in a lot of years, so I don't know.
Right. I mean, I'm sure they're horrible. I'm sure they're horrible movies, but we loved him as kids, and Hulk Hogan was the first wrestler to make wrestling big time, and he was really the first guy to put wrestling on the map and to be a star and to be someone that kids could look up to, and he was a good role model for kids as well. Number 1 wrestler turned actor, and I don't think this is really a surprise to anybody. I mean, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he's really the only guy on this list that can probably act. He's been in some outstanding movies, and when you think about action stars these days, there really aren't any. There's not like when we were growing up, Cartman, we had like Jean-Claude Van Damme, we had like Sylvester Stallone. We had all these people that are now like getting together to do these Expendables movies just because that's the only way they can sell movies now. Because action movies, you don't need a really badass actor for an action movie anymore because
no, you don't. I mean,
you can change everything with computers now and with stuntmen, and you don't need the guy to be the complete badass, which is kind of sad. You don't need Arnold Schwarzenegger anymore, right? You don't need this guy that looks huge because you can make an ordinary guy look huge now.
Exactly.
Yeah. But The Rock is one of the last a classic action star. He's still a guy that kicks ass in real life and on screen. Yeah. And so Rock easily gets our number 1 on this.
What's your favorite
list?
Yeah, what's your favorite movie with The Rock in it?
I liked him in a lot of movies. What was that one, The Gridiron Gang, where he was a football coach?
Oh, I've actually never seen that.
That's a really good movie. I also like Walking Tall.
Walking Tall is my favorite with The Rock by far.
That's a really good one. Episode 5 is a wrap. Join us again late next week. We'll be posting Saturday morning again, just like we did this week, and probably will for the rest of October. Now, for November, we're actually throwing around the idea of posting 2 shows a week. The shows would be shorter. On one show, we'd do a review of the NFL, and then on the other show, we'd predict the next week. It's just an idea we're throwing around. If you have an opinion about that or anything else related to the show, hit us up on Facebook. Cartman?
The good thing about procrastination is that you always have something planned for tomorrow.
Now that's some good advice.